welcome back to another episode of the Geek Podcast.
This is your host, Charlie Radio Williams, and this is Sean Luke.
Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Podcast.
What's up, Geektopians? You know what, Sean? I realized that there's 2 episodes ago, I think it was the episode with Law or with Tone, we were bobbing, or I was bouncing to the music, and then when I did the edit, I forgot that our theme song is edited in over the sound of the countdown, and so it's 2 different sounds in total. It's just 2 different.
Oh, that's just horrible.
Yeah. So, and I realized that, like, oh, I can't even talk about the countdown music here. So, with that being said, wait, go ahead.
Isn't that kind of good? Isn't that kind of good? This way we don't get copyright stricken or something?
I mean, I don't know. Is it good? Well, it's StreamYard. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are using StreamYard. It's been a long day for us both. And we just want to get this show started. So, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of the G's for Geek podcast. I'm your host, Charlie Radio Williams.
And this is Sean Luke.
Okay, and before we get started, I just want to say thank you guys for just watching our YouTube shows. Thank you for listening to us on Spotify, Instagram, iTunes, Stitcher, and now we're on Facebook Podcast. We're working to bring you more of ourselves, the 2 geeks, more Geektopian content, as well as just more awesome guests. Everything from photographers to writers to comic book artists to
voice actors.
Yeah, voice actors, vloggers, Twitch streamers. So we're
trying to bring everybody into our spectrum of Geektopian.
Right. It's all about us just shooting the shit. Just shooting the shit. That's what we do. We shoot the shit every week.
That's the goal, to shoot the shit and make sure our shit flies.
Yeah. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring our guest who's been on the show, I believe like once or twice, or he's been on once and then he's done some projects with us. And of course, you know, we've already had 2 others of the trio of the nerds of the round. So it's about time that we bring back on Sebastion Bonet. Are you ready, Geektopians? Let's do this.
What's up, Geektopians? What's up, guys? This is your boy Sebastion, the least favorite member of Sketchfed, because I know who Charlie's favorite is. I know who Sean's favorite is. Those are
See, you gotta understand. We have to make sure those are the favorites because you stand above the rest.
Oh damn! I can't wait for them to see that. They're like, okay, we're gonna come back if you guys want some shit. Just invade. No, yes. But I'm waiting for those Austins to pay me back for it. No, seriously though, thank you guys for having all 3 of us on. The interviews have been awesome. Again, big shout out to Tony and Law because again, that's the nerd fam right there, bro. And big shout out to Jess because nothing is nerds of the round without Jess. But yeah, I just wanted to come pick on you guys.
Literally just celebrated an anniversary, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, congratulations.
7 years, and she hasn't murdered me yet, but she's in the other room watching the murder shows right now. So you know, if I disappear,
congratulations on surviving another year.
I want to get this out the way now. Yes, Law is my favorite. Law, if you're watching. Law, you know you're my creative twin, Law, my creative twin. All right. I would love to have you and Jesse on at the same time, so that way we could kind of learn about Jesse. She's the unseen one.
That's
she's
how
the
she
unsung
does.
hero.
She's the unseen warrior. I mean, you see us 3 coming down, and the guy trying to come in, and then all of a sudden she's gonna come up behind you, clack clack. That's it. You know.
Yeah.
Like
oh my gosh.
Assassin.
Listen, she got that hardcore style mentality too. So you got to be real careful. Right?
Sean's met Jesse. That's it.
We'll book you both one, and we'll have a deep RH for romance Geektopian episode.
The Valentine's episode. There we go.
Hey, hopefully I'll have a girlfriend by then.
I'm not promising anything like that.
Hey, Sean, high spirits. All right, 2021 is not over yet. All right.
I said hopefully. You know, I literally said hopefully.
It's okay. Comic-Con should, if they're doing speed dating, we'll get you in there. It'll be a Geektopians presents Quickotopians exclusive.
You know what? If they allow us to record this,
that'd be great.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're going to be taking Sean and Horman out at New York City Comic Con for $1.
Yeah.
And a quick peek at the calendar goods. You can have a piece of the Acevedo.
And for good measure, because I'm beating him to the punch right now, I will. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I will wear the Speedos to the auction.
Oh,
wait, are you sure about that?
I'm just saying, if we're doing this,
can you repeat that again?
If we're doing the meat market, I got to show off the meat.
All
and
right.
the best way to show off the meat is having these Jean-Luc Speedos while holding Pastor Charles's Psalms of Geekdom.
Wow. So I was going to leave that out tonight, and I wasn't even going to start anything tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Geektopians, if you're watching, I guess this is the segment where we're going to do our plugs. This episode of the Geektopians is brought to you by Sean Speedos. You can get your pair of Sean Speedos here at Sketchfed studios.com. They come in 3 different colors. It's 3 different colors. This is Sean.
That is not my body. That is not my body. However, the accuracy is scary.
Come on, yeah, because you're pretty. You've been losing weight. So this episode is brought to you by Sean Speedos, where you can get your favorite Latin lover. What is it? Undergarments. Yeah. Be sexy, be you. We have them in big, tall, small, be on the beach. So I just wanted to plug that out there. The Sean Speedos.
I got one question. Where is the picture of that head at? Is it on the front or on the ass?
It's on the ass.
That is on the back.
Oh damn. So you're working on the focal point. That's it.
That's what makes it a Sean Luke exclusive. That's what makes it
it has my trademark face apparently.
And although I don't have anything prepared for this one, but this is apparently Sean told me to just put this on screen and he'll run with it. So I'm just gonna Geektopians. I know you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, but feel free to at some point jump over to YouTube.
Watch the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Pastor Reverend Radio Williams and his Psalms of Geekdom. Going to be on sale very soon on the Sketchfed Studios website. It will be a book. It will be an audio book.
Oh, wow.
And featuring some of Pastor Radio Williams's greatest and most influential geekdom comments.
Such as there was nothing wrong with the snap. Thanos is correct.
Well, after watching What If, that's a whole different story.
Listen. As long as like the psalm that's in there is "Thou shalt not rub one out while doing the snap."
I have nothing on that one. I'm just going to get that off.
Listen, there's a whole different there was a whole memes about that. People just doing crazy shit during the snap.
Oh man.
Can we take a moment and just recognize that this looks like a propaganda poster?
Yes.
Oh man, I feel like
it really does.
Yes,
right?
it does. And I feel like this is crazy because you're the one that did it.
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna sell me insurance or snuff my life away.
I mean,
what?
I mean, sell you the insurance, then snuff your life away. Because
it does have that
insurance.
Cold War, tyrannical. Yeah. That's gonna be the poster of my comic.
Like
right there.
Tacos or I murder you. I don't know.
Exactly. I have no problem with that.
I am in deep thought in that poster. It's very much deep thought. All right, Sebastian. Now that we have
What up?
on.
Yes,
Welcome
the least favorite murmur of the nerds. Thank you guys. I'm back.
Apparently, according to the other two, you guys are equal partners in your Nerds of the Realm podcast.
Oh yeah, it's equal chaos. Do you guys not know that? Equal chaos.
I don't know.
That goes
I barely get any recognition on this show, so I don't know what it means to be an equal partner.
It's It's called Tons of Love, beer, drinks, and eating a lot of food together. That's it, and then that's all it is. Equal chaos.
Can we step back for a second? What do you mean you don't know about equal love? I show you love all the time. I'm offended. I am hurt. I don't know what to say. Hey, Sebastian, we're taking auditions.
I knew it. I was waiting. Kelton.
I'm taking auditions.
Yeah, there's a problem with that now that I actually have the power.
Oh,
so
man.
at any point in time, I can literally just remove you like this. And
yo,
hey, guess
I'm
what?
glad I'm the one to be on the episode when you both have the power. Oh,
so now that we got that little tussle out the way, Geektopians, Sean now has power to remove me off screen.
But I will, unlike you, I will not abuse that power. Because unlike you, I believe in equity and fairness.
Oh, it doesn't matter to me. I take someone off the fucking screen all the time. And even though I gave them a power, because I was like, oh, you know what? You gave us too much power. I was like,
yes.
Fuck it. That's it. Let's have fun.
But let me ask you now, gentlemen, since we've all had the power, how good does it feel to send somebody back to the green room? How good?
It's fun. It's fun until they send you back. Nah, it's
exactly.
it makes for some good TV because it's all like fun and games. Like wow, I mean, for me, it was fun with the minute that I gave Tone and Law that power and they do it, and I'm just like, yep, let's have fun. Let's have fun. Then it tells me I don't have to control shit anymore.
Oh, wow. I feel like the Geektopians, when they see the episode, they're like, Charlie, you're a jerk. Like, stop.
Yeah, they do. People look at us like, dude, no, you're like, no, dude, we're having fucking fun. This is what we do. That's it. It's just friends ribbing friends. That's all it is.
Whoa, let's clarify this. I don't care if Sean has fun. I'm having fun. In that moment,
of course you would.
Me sending him to the back is amazing. It's just
a
amazing.
torturous feeling.
It's euphoric. It's I can't. It's like if you had several donuts or chocolate, or it's just one of those things.
I had to give Tone and Law that power because sometimes I kind of go off the rails sometimes because it's me. That's it. And I was like, you know what? Like you got to cut me off. Cut me off right there. So that's what happens.
No, we don't. Well, we'll see. Because once again, this is day one of the Latin Lover having. Can we talk about that name?
I can't
for
believe
him?
I agree to this.
Can we talk about the name Latin Lover?
Why?
I know me and Sebastian have some questions.
But it's not even okay. First of all, it's not even original. It's an original name. It's not. There's been many other wrestlers alone with the name Latin Lover,
but none of them was Sean Luke.
The Latin
Sean Luke, the Latin Lover.
Mm-hmm.
You got to come out with and the Star Trek uniform too, and all that to kind of put on the Jean Luc, the representation right there, the flag and everything. Like, yay! I got to see your wrestling matches. When you gonna send me them videos, bro? I got to see when you wrestle.
I thought I did already.
You know what? It's old age, man. I'm probably the oldest mofo here.
I don't have a clip. If I had a clip, I would post it on screen of Sean, the Latin Lover.
Listen, I propose this. I will go ahead. I will get a wig, and I will reprise my role as Malta Man and do a photo shoot with Sean as the Latin Lover, and we will be Latin Arrasa right there, and just like tag team right there with it, like, hey, Malta Man. For those that don't know, that's it.
Malta Man.
The Malta Men.
Geektopians, I failed you, Geektopians. So Sebastian has this photo of him with curls, right? With long, luxurious, down to his shoulders curls. And I saw this photo and I said, I need to get this photo and create a West Coast album. And I couldn't find it. I was stalking his gram. I was stalking his Facebook. I can admit that here. And I just could not find this photo. And I didn't want to reach out to you and be like, hey, Sebastian, where's that photo at? So that way I can do this because I want it to be a surprise.
You could have reached out to Tone and Law. I'm pretty sure they give it to you in a heartbeat.
Probably. You know what? That was
that's why you need a Tone on your team, because Tony, he is Mr. Deep Dive and Mr. Recon.
That was the last thing on my mind. But, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to share this photo of Sebastian. This is Sebastian when he was... He was auditioning for Xena the Warrior Princess as a, what was it, thug number 1, thug number 2. And tell us about this outfit, sir. Tell us about all of this. And he made sure he did it with the tattoo side, face for it. Please tell us about this, sir. Tell us.
All right, that was Halloween in California. The friends, me and my wife. She was dressed up as Xena, the warrior princess. I was Ares, the god of war. She actually put the costume together, like the studs on the leather vest right there. So I'm actually wearing a leather vest, pleather pants. I got my boots, and then I had those like little things that go over the boots and all that. So I was just rocking as Ares, the god of war right there. We were just kicking it. And as you can see, Ken from Street Fighter with the hillbilly in the back taking a look at that with that stance. Look, ooh, come on, look at that. Look at that. I'm Doug number 14.
Ladies and gentlemen, screw that. Let's zoom in.
And look at the hair. Look at the hair. That's when I had my long hair.
There
look at that.
There it goes. But do you see the seriousness of this man's face as he is in character? do you see? I can see the Aries. All right, I can see it. The seriousness of this man's face. All right, zoom back in one more time. There we go. The seriousness. Look at that. Look at that.
I mean, to be fair, I was already half drunk in this picture, so it was a lot of we played, what was it, shot roulette and all that. So
oh my God, why would you do that?
You young and dumb.
Listen, let's talk about young and dumb. I did that like a few months ago. Talk about young and dumb.
I'll tell you, I don't. And then lastly, the last photo I will share with you, Geektopians, of Sebastion, because we have questions about this one too, right? So this was a recent photo that was taken of the Nerds of the Round. That might be Vin Diesel in the background. Why do you three look like a mafioso movie in the making?
So
Tone has the Cuban mustache. All right. Law. Perfect. Law. Always look at that beard. That beard that Law has is just perfect.
I feel like this is borderline
he
creepy.
So there's a lot of going on with this one. So it was the first time that we all got together since me and Tone moved down here. We did an all white shoot. It was just the nerds getting together, having a couple of drinks. Tone was being Tone Master. He was being Grill Master that weekend. We were all chilling and everything. It was like, the girls were like, hey, you guys do like a photo shoot, do the whole white shoot, because I think it started either I was wearing white or we made a joke and we're like, you know what, let's just make this happen. So we got the hats and everything. So we were good with that. And then that was also the week that the Vin Diesel memes were coming out. And it was at this point that Law was just like, yo, I'm just tired of these Van Diesel memes because I kept on blowing up the chat with them. He's like, yo, so I just thought it would be funny because and then I so happened to find the picture of Van Diesel in the white wife beater, made the photo black and white, and then added Van Diesel in the background entitled because we are family. And it just like, it fit. And it was like that point when Law's like, I hate you, but I don't. And I was like, I had to do it. And I posted it on the Nerds. Like, I was like, you know what? It's a meme, but it's like, it was a great weekend. We had a great chill shoot. We didn't get to shoot any real live audio that we wanted to do, but it was like, just catching up, gaming and everything and all that. Not a game like this. We were playing card games and everything, but it was the shit, man.
Oh, okay. So Sean, wait, are you going to?
So yeah, I decided to torture myself and show you my first professional match, if you will.
Oh,
right.
shit.
So hopefully you guys can see it. I don't know if you can.
Big screen that up, and we'll do some commentary on the side. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching, see, Geektopians, I know I tell you that at 6 a.m.
We're only doing the entrance. We're not doing the match.
At 6 a.m., you can listen to the podcast, or you can wait until 5 p.m. to watch the show. But you may want to watch the show for this one, because right now, oh God, camera blur, we are watching Sean Luke's match you can be found on YouTube. Back in his Latin
No one can hear you.
Wait, what? What do you mean no one can hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah, people can hear me. You can't hear me, Sean? See, this is what happens. All right. Anyway, I'm going to continue with commentary. So, okay, right now the Latin Lover has come out. He's He's applauding people. He's walking around the ring. He's wearing what seems to be a black tee with the Mexican flag on the back of it.
It's a vest.
Oh, that's a vest. Is that like a biker vest?
Yes.
Bro, you were aces and eights before aces and eights.
Yeah.
What are those basketball shorts?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I can. Yeah.
Someone called Bully Ray because he ripped you off.
He does. He
would probably look for us in person like, you said I did what? I'm like, oh fuck, it's Bully Ray.
He does look like Billy Ray. Yeah. Oh, they just turned the lights on. Okay, he's in the ring, ladies and gentlemen. He managed to get into the ring without tripping, and he's hyped up.
Wow, really?
Listen, I've seen you walk in real life. You are.
It's about to be a slobber knocker.
Yeah, you're an accident waiting to happen. Now he's doing the Latin 2-step or 3-step. Now he's stripping down. Okay, he has his wrestling. We got him in his full wrestling gear. All right. This is interesting. No, this is like Rogan when he talks about shit, he dropped the shorts.
Oh shit.
Oh,
he's in the singlet. Shit.
Oh, he's hiding his coochie mio. I don't know. I just coochie mio. I don't know. I'm just butchering. All right, I'm gonna stop. All right. Okay, he's showing the legs. One leg, two leg. One leg, two leg. You're such a happy wrestler, and I love your gimmick. Like I was saying, this is like when Rogan watches MMA on his podcast. This is us watching our version of.
It.
Wait, is that the whole video?
That was the entrance. I'm not showing the whole match.
We can go the whole entire episode.
It's 14 minutes. I'm not doing it.
So, Sebastion, what do you think, Sebastion? We can go the whole entire episode.
I don't know. I would just link the match in the description and be like, "Yo, you please see the full match." We will
link that match in the description. And Geektopians, you can tell us what you think about the Latin lover, Sean.
Listen, they got nothing. They got nothing but positive things to say because that is the preview of the calendar.
Oh, really?
I concur.
Apparently, I can't post it on the chat, but whatever. Cool. All right.
No, that's all right. I'll find that link. I'll put that in the video when this goes up. When this goes up next week, that will be there, sir. That will be there.
There. I gave myself full torture. So
it's all good. You know what? You do this for the fans. You do this for people. You're having fun doing it, entertaining people and everything. That's it. We're all there with you, bro. Again, what was it? I dressed up as Wolverine and made an ass of myself with all them bobby pins in my hair. So that's, again, you're just having fun, man. Kudos.
I think.
Have you? I don't think Radio's ever cosplayed like that. Have you?
I have cosplayed. I've cosplayed one time. I've cosplayed twice in my life. I don't know if I can find the photos because I'll have to like really, really search for the photos. But I've done a cosplay of Naruto's first teacher, Aruki Sensei. And I normally do my Star Trek outfits. Yeah,
ooh.
I think that's it. Just Star Trek and Naruto.
Yeah, my cosplay has only gone one time outside of a Halloween party. Every other time it has been a Halloween party. It's the only time or a costume party where I would just dress up. So I feel you on that, Charlie. I feel you.
Yeah. No, I would love to cosplay more. It's just I don't have the time or the budget.
What you should do is this cosplay on a budget, and you guys just have a wheel that spins to say what cosplay you're gonna be there.
Oh my god!
Just put like random stuff, like okay, we got Hinata, we got was it elongated man? Let's go elongated man, yeah.
That sounds fun in theory. That sounds all fun in theory, but I would rather have that wheel for Sean Luke. That way we can we'll have the option to be like, oh, that's what you're gonna wear. Toss it, and we'll just find something that's more suiting. Yeah.
See, that's what we're gonna do next time. Is I have you two play, livers, drinks against livers against each other, and then the loser has to cosplay the winner's selection.
Jeez.
Well,
why?
See,
I mean, you guys don't got faith in y'all geek. No, it's Sean versus Charlie.
you know what? We will play that, but there's a game that I would like for you to play on the next time you're in the show. We had Tone play, and you know, Tone's a sore loser. He couldn't win the game, but the game is pretty much who knows, and it's based on the person who's on the show, but it's called. For you, it would be who knows Sebastion best.
That's
Sebastion
easy.
Or Sean Luke.
No, that's easy. That's easy.
And that would be
my wife. That's it. Even I don't know
cool.
me.
See,
Even I don't know me.
When we have the episode that you guys both come on, hopefully we can have you guys both come on. We will play that game. Who knows Sebastion best? And what do you think, Sean? Best out of 7?
I think best out of 5. Let's make it a quick one.
Best out of 5.
You already know we're going to dominate. So,
Sean, if you're a true friend, and if Jesse does come on to play that, you're going to lose. If you're a true friend.
let the wife win. That's what you're telling me. Let the wifey win.
She gonna win, but it's like, geez, come on, dude.
I love it. Just straight C3PO status. Let the wifey win.
And that's why
remember, happy wife, happy life.
But you see, this is why I love this, because we here at the Geeks for Geek podcast, we play fair. You know,
oh, we do.
We do. We play fair. Tone swore that we were cheating. He came to the table and he was ready. He was excited. He just wasn't ready to go up against Sean Luke. He wasn't ready. And I don't know what to say to that. I honestly don't know.
I could hear Tone already saying this fucking guy.
And I'm kind of hurt because he accused us of rigging the game and knowing the answers. And here's the deal. I knew the answers because I came up with the questions. Sean being the brilliant mind, the better half of this show, said, you know what, Charlie, I'm not going to cheat. We're going to play this straight. And I said, you're a good man. And then we played the game. I asked the questions, and Sean got them. Sean, you know what? Sean doesn't get enough credit. Yeah, doesn't get enough credit.
To be fair, that was a lot of episodes you guys went through and combed over. I was like, holy shit.
we only asked 3 questions.
Yeah,
3 questions. Was it 3 or 4?
I'm going to be an impartial judge right here and right now. I'm going to be that impartial guy. I kind of think you guys pulled a fast one on Tone because he kind of like threw you guys like in there when they did the questions against livers. Oh, I'm alone here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, not on this show. We're not going to have him butcher us on this show. We're not going to do this. All right, cut him off. All right, we're not going. Okay, we brought you back. Sorry about that.
Yo, that is so messed up.
Sorry about that.
Listen. I just broke a record. I'm the first guest you did it to.
Yeah. You are the first. And I know somebody who's watching that who is like, that jerk. He is such a jerk.
Oh, don't worry. You guys come on my show. We got you. Don't worry.
See, this is what I'm afraid of.
Wait, but you've sent me to the back.
You give me ammunition to build a better show. That's it. It creates content. Oh,
you've sent me to the back.
Wait. But then when the powers of law and Tony come combined, we are going to Voltron that shit.
Oh, Lord have mercy. We're not even going to have a chance.
It's all right.
It's all fun.
As we were saying, it's all fun.
Yeah. Bro, it's all fun and games. I mean, we like it's just about having fun. That's all it is, and it's like we're just killing it. We have fun with the game, and it's like, and again, the interviews were dope, and I was like, I was stoked when he was like, you reached out, like, yo, wow, we spoke about it before with Charlie. You reached out to me, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna hit Tone with this. I'm gonna go through I was like, one, I was like, yo, he's gonna appreciate that, and 2, I'm like, that's pretty dope. Like, go back and bring up stuff because it brings up like a lot of like. We've done a lot of goddamn episodes.
A lot. That's why when I make fun, I'm like, remember the couch? Remember the center. Remember the paper backdrop.
I remember, what was it, the poops and giggle segments that we used to do. That used to crack Rich Dresden up. Rich Dresden, lots of love for that guy. But like the one episode that we would never ever get to air because we lost the footage, it's not there, it disappeared, deleted, is the very first episode where it was in, and again, big shout out to Geeks Unlimited, my buddy Steven, who was the cameraman, Mike and Law, for being the first guest. We call it the dark episode, where it was in his basement, the blue walls. You barely see us because they didn't have any lights to really bring us out. And it was like, oh, like, wow, we have to really step up production. This looks bad. And it was like,
you pulled it off, right?
I mean, it was. I consider it a lesson learned type thing.
No, it was a huge lesson learned. There was a lot of lessons, and it learned with editing, with what to do with the podcast on. Because like there was a first edit, and when I saw it, I was like, I mean, I'll be honest, and London, but I didn't want to air it. I looked at my wife like, hey, because Jesse's been the editor since day one. Well, actually day two, because Steven was the first editor, and it was nothing against Steven or anything like that. It's just we had two different visions. Okay. And we were trying to boost up a channel, Geeks Unlimited. I give them shout outs for what they do. Again, I love Steven, his family, Mike, and all of them. We're all doing now our thing and everything. Like Mike, he has his podcast that he's been killing it over there. He's been on a few other shows. He's been a reoccurring guest. Steven has a beautiful family. He used to run a show and everything. And they're and he still kills it with the social media over there at Geeks Unlimited. I split off and started doing following her fitness and everything, and I mean people just, and Brian's doing his gaming. It's just like, it's just those things where it's like when you start to see like certain visions didn't match up, and I was like, I was like, I just had to carry this over to his own channel, and it was, and again, it led to conversations with Tone, because Tone was there with the conversations. Law, even though at the time they weren't a part of the show, they were really a part of the show. Okay. Because I was confiding in them a lot of stuff about, and about frustrations and everything, and they were really great to talk to and all that. And even and I think that's really, the seeds were already like planted there, and with Tony and Law, because again, just confining with everything, because it was just Tony, Law, that's been the crew from the with eventually that we were all going to link up and really keep going with the episodes and all that. And we love having Mayhem Mike on. You guys gotta have him on your show too, because Mike, I love him, and congratulations again, because he just became a father this year.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations to him. But it's like, it's been a fun journey, and it's been a family journey, with the show, man. And it's and just everything that we do. And it's even led with us going into the Dungeons and Dragons podcast that we're a part of now.
Well, before you deep down, let's talk about a few things you just talked about. One, I went into something you said. We've had our share of missing episodes, because I know there's times where I would be editing it, and we talked about this before on like the podcast panels and stuff like that. That one of the things you should always do is back up your file. So whenever I back up file, I have two files. I have the file that I'm going to edit, and then I have the file in case I lose that file. I think that's very important if you're creating any form of digital content, whether if it's photography or video. Always back up your stuff.
Yeah.
But the part that I want to talk about is when something goes missing. So I wonder, do you always talk to your, like, after something is recorded? I take it that you're the one who, out of your three co-hosts, who will say, okay, I think this is a great episode, let's run with this. Or you might be like, this wasn't the best episode, let's make this disappear. Let's dig a hole or a ditch and make this one disappear.
Well, to be quite, there are some episodes that are still on the YouTube there that we have that we haven't made public, like the very first season of Nerds. Law and Steven were the guests, and the 3 episodes are there, but we haven't made them public because it's just, I don't know, In the first episode, when I joke about, oh, it disappeared, like, no, it literally did disappear because we were trying to move it over to save, and I think the file just got corrupted. And it just, it was such a huge file because it just, I don't know, we'll just leave it at it. It just wasn't really working and everything, and it had to be re-edited. And I mean, the lighting was bad, everything. And then the 3 episodes we have saved on the channel, but they're not published, they're just still there.
Okay.
And if we ever decide to publicize them, maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know, but they're there. It was fun talking geek stuff with Flo and Steven on the couch. One of the episodes sucked because something had gotten in my eye in the middle of the episode. So like you see me like constantly go into my eye because like it was just bad. Like it started swelling up. Like you could see like getting red on camera. Like that was just bad. But that was like the first, and then you go to the whole thing like Nerd season 2. And I was like, yeah, because we kind of like didn't air season 1, and then we have a lot of audio on the YouTube channel that you could find in the podcast space. Because for a while, Nerds was just an audio podcast too, because we're like, yeah, we can't keep doing video. Let's just do audio. It's easier. Blah, blah, blah. Let's make it easier for us. And I think that's one of the reasons we kind of retired the creative series and trying to find a new format for it. Because it's like, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. And like just as the editor and kind of like, hey, here's the video and all that, and the editor's process is like, yeah, let's start to pull that from a plate now, because it was a lot of work. And
so Law and Tone was telling us that you guys, because when it got brought, I think Law brought it up, or they both brought it up individually, and I asked about it, like, what was it that kind of fell for you guys? And I guess having you on, you can kind of give us your perspective on that too. Like, what was it that was like, this is just too much? Like, we're doing too much.
I felt one is because he was booking the guests. I kind of burnt out the guys with that, which is like, I always apologize. This is like, and it was like, we had a deadline that we said we're going to retire this. And I was like, okay, let's get these, because we have a lot of content we got to record. And the creator series, like, there's nothing against it. We love the creator series. It's just that it is work. It is a lot of work. And, we're getting people's press kits, and a lot of it is like, you got to reach out to people who are not sending their press kits, not sending stuff, find stuff. You got to do the research, because it's like, it's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. Like, you're looking through profiles, you look at, and a lot of it is like, we did prep questions. And we didn't ask all the questions, but like, just in case. And it was like, it got to the point too, like, how can we be different from other interviews? Because like, this gets a standard question, this gets a standard question. Let's see what we asked this person. We wanted to ask people stuff. And I think it really prompted that when someone was like, said, oh, wow, like, you guys actually read the material. And we all looked at each other like, yeah, it's not like you sent it to us. We're going to read it. We're going to review it. And I think that was one of the things that, that was like, yo, we just got to keep doing it. And then I think a lot of it was that it was a lot of burnout. It's hard. It's not easy stuff. And we get people that contact us was like, yeah, we need this stuff. We got to review it. And I mean, Tone's a full-time dad. He has his full-time job. He does Nerds. Lawrence is the photographer and everything. Like, he's also helping out with the Medusa's Cascade, with helping transcribe some of the stuff, helping with Tommy. He does his Switch channel. So there's also a lot of outside things we do. And it's like trying to find time in our days. Like, I got a full-time job. I'm working on the comic. There's a lot of stuff. Jess is doing her stuff too. And it's like, okay, we had to figure out a new way. It's kind of like a evolution. Okay. Nerds is continuing to evolve to be that channel that wants to continue to still do this stuff. But at the same time, it's like we don't want to burn out.
Do you also feel like it's more of like right source of content that you want to work on, just not the best time for everyone to work on? So, for example, with me and Sean, Sean works in education. I have a job working in logistics, and there's almost every day of the week I would love to film a Sketchfed short or write a Sketchfed short or review, and it's kind of like, oh geez, you have your personal life and then you have your creative life, and more often than not it feels like the creative life gets burnt out quicker because you're trying to balance it with your personal life.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. The being a creative is, I will say this, and I'll be blunt about it. It's not really. I don't want to use rewarding because it's like, you know, it at times that's what it feels like. You feel it, but it's like I always say, like, you know, if I touched one person, if one person liked it, enjoyed the content, then I'm doing my thing. I wish, like, you know, honestly, we all wish that we got paid to do this, but unfortunately, a lot of us have to be in those day jobs, and it's like, so we got to go the balancing act with the day job. We got to do the balancing act with our private lives too. Because all fun, all work and no play, you know, it will extremely burn you out. You know, you have to enjoy. Like, I gotta make sure, like, you know, I'm blocking out time with my wife. Like, we're gonna hang out, blocking out time with family. And as a creative, like, you know, you gotta figure those things out. Which people like, oh, time management, but it's like, you know, at times you feel like there's not enough in the day. It happens, and you know, and then there's like all hours of the night because you have this project that you're working on. And it's like, you got to get, like, right now I have script open. I've been trying to work on a script even during my work hours when I'm like, you know, have the free time. But it's like, you know, it's like burnout is real. It happens. It's like you have to take that time out, rejuvenate. And that's why it's like, and I felt it with, like, there's times too where I've actually, some of my personal projects, because I put other things first, I've kind of walked away from. And it's like, that feeling sucks. And it's always gonna suck, but it's like, you know what? I just gotta pin it right here. I'm going to revisit it again. Okay. Me and my wife used to do a vlog, and at one point, it just, like, you know, we did some fun stuff, and then I was like, I didn't want to say it wasn't fun anymore. It was just trying to figure out things for it, and we were like, you know, if we're gonna do the vlog, let's just do it for fun. Let's just put stuff out there. If we ever record something, we'll put it together. And I mean, it was fun doing it, figuring out stuff. I felt bad a lot of the times because I didn't feel like I was contributing as much, and that's me. I never feel like I'm contributing as much when it comes to all the stuff that's there. I
do you feel like that with nerds as well, or do you
I feel like that with everything, and that's why it's like I always, like, in the back of my head, I'm like, I gotta keep pushing. That's why it's when it comes to the con and everything. And at sometimes I feel like I may push too much, and I guess and sometimes I have to sit back, take a step back, and, like, you know, what am I doing? Because, like, I never like it when I see other people who are working on the projects with me that they start to feel that burnout. And I'm like, you know, let me just take a step back. Let's revitalize it. Let me get people's information. It's kind of like what we did with the show this year with INBEON CON. We actually sent out surveys this year to ask people what they like, what they didn't like, because we want to take that feedback. And that's the same thing as, like, everything else, like, you know, it's feedback that I want to hear. And the guys always bring their A game. Jess brings her A game. Everyone, they bring their A game, and I'm like, you know, I've always feel like I gotta step on my A game. Like with doing the Medusa's podcast, that's been freaking phenomenal. And like Tommy, who is the DM for that, always bringing his A game. Yun with the other, the one that's gonna drop. They bring the A game, and it's inspiration. It's inspiration what these guys do. And again, I think we're always doing a lot of different stuff, and then, you know, like Tone said, he does it for his family, like the work and everything. And this is, I don't want to make this not fun. Okay. But at the same time, I also like the fact that we do give creators an outlet to really talk about their stuff. I don't want to say the voice of the voiceless, because there are a lot of podcasters that are out there doing it. I like that, you know, we're able to do it. And I'm not just looking to get their stuff out there. I'm looking to make a connection, and a lot of it's been like personal connection with people. And I mean, I'm really excited when Tony and Law gets to meet a lot of these great creators who I've had the honor of meeting some of them in person, because they're just as awesome in person. Like you guys, like when Sean got to come in, Charlie, when we met at Rhode Island. I'm excited when we all can get together actually in person one day. We're
going to drain our lives away.
Oh yeah.
We're going to drain our lives away.
Oh yeah, I mean, I keep saying I'm gonna put Tony on the grill, because it's like Tony's like, yo, you keep pouring me on the grill, but I'm like, dude, have you not tasted your ribs? And they're so good. Boom, damn. No, but it's a lot of it too has been about, for me, the personal connection and trying to get the guys with and everybody with personal connections, meeting people, because like I felt the sense of awesome when, like, for example, Buddy Scalera recognized the work that Tony does.
Okay.
And it was something that I didn't do because I know how great Tony is. I know how great Law is. I know what great things they do. And I'm like, I get excited when other people notice that.
Okay.
And again, and I always I like to shine that light on them. And it's like, these two are phenomenal at what they do. I mean, Law's taking some, like, if you haven't seen his photography, it's like he's taking some really beautiful pictures. And I'm like, dude, you are a phenomenal photographer. And it was fun. Like, before the pandemic, me, him, Just, Eric and his family, Eric, who's the CEO of INBEON, the founder, we were in Dominica. I can't say the word anyway. Dominica. Yeah. And we had a blast, and Law and Just and Hutch played with drones, crashed one in a tree. It was, and the pictures and all that we all left with were phenomenal. And again, it just showed the lens. And even with Jess, her editing and all that, like, if anybody hires her for audio editing or anybody hires her for video editing, they're getting their money's worth, because she will make sure you get a product out there. And part of it's like, you know what, we don't get paid to do nerds, and I want people to get paid. I want the people to get paid. I want Jess to make money what she's doing. I want Tony and Law to make money in sponsorships with this and all that, and get invited to more podcasts and get sponsors for their stuff and all that. I want Tony to get the mustache sponsor, where it's like, yeah, show the dad mustache. Let's go.
Yeah, little Harry. Get some Harry sponsorship.
Hashtag Tone Stash. That's been a thing going between David, Mike, and Tone.
Well, looks like we just created another product.
Tone Stash. I love it. It's like every time somebody comes on the show, you're right, Sean. Ladies and gentlemen, Geektopians. I don't even know what Tone Stash.
No. It's not even. We're not even gonna do Tone Stash. That's their thing, right? Our thing is just
it's an ongoing battle between Tony, Mike, and Dave Morgan, who always pop up in the chat to give Tony hell. And
I got this. Ready, ladies and gentlemen. I bring to you the latest product in G4G product placement here today. Today, we introduce to you the exclusive Geektopians geek-related razor blades. Ladies and gentlemen, did you ever want Darth Vader to literally sharpen your sides? Would you ever have wanted Princess Leia to help you shave them sexy legs? And this is for males, females, and transgender. Just saying. Equal opportunity. Right? Every single Geektopian razor blade comes with an iconic geek-related character.
Oh, God.
Let's say you wanted Chewbacca. Ooh. And you wanted a one-blade razor because you wanted to keep some of them hairs. You can do that. Suppose you wanted the partial bald. Maybe you want a partially bald like Captain Jean-Luc Picard. We can do that for you as well. Have Jean-Luc so you can have the stylings right there in front of you as you are shaving with your two-blade razor. Or you want to do the full Luke Cage and go completely bald, right? We got you with the 5 blades with the classic 1970s Luke Cage figure look right on there. Geektopian razor blades on sale soon.
I thought you were gonna go with shaved Chewbacca because
No, we can't shave Chewbacca. That just kills this.
They've done it.
That just kills this whole gimmick.
I got nothing, Geektopians. I that was out of left field. I got nothing. I have nothing to add to that.
So on that note, let's get a little bit more serious for a second. So you were talking about INBEON CON and stuff like that, right? Yeah. And there's a couple things I want to ask. One, do you believe that virtual cons would be the future of convention? Because I know you guys did a really good job this year when it came to virtual conventions, right? You guys did live as well as pre-recorded stuff, and it went very seamlessly for the most part. Obviously, you guys behind the scenes seen more chaotic parts than we did, but for you guys, like, do you feel that virtual cons are becoming the new future, or do you think this is just a temporary stopgap?
I mean, I'm going to be honest with virtual cons. I don't think that this is going to be a temporary stopgap, but just like with in-person shows, you're going to have those that are going to disappear. That's the blunt answer with that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to say we did it the right way because there is no right way of doing it. No one's figured it out. I'm going to say we did it our way. And we learned, and when it came down, like I said, to doing those surveys for this year's show, we learned our lessons from last year. We learned what made it smooth, what didn't. And I mean, this show ran 10 times smoother, and it was about using a lot of the tools we had at our disposals. It was about listening to people, and the whole thing about it too, we weren't trying to replace an in-person show. Because I think that that's the mistake where some people made, where they were trying to replace an in-person show. You can't replace an in-person experience. And I think that's where we shine above that kind of, I want to use where we kind of shine above that when it comes down to running our show. We're not trying to replace the in-person experience. We're trying to give you a experience, something that you can enjoy from the comfort of wherever. And it's the same thing, not just for the fans, but it's for the creators that participate too. What can we do to help creators? A lot of it was talking about digital marketing, because if you notice, like a lot of the panels were how-tos. How-tos because people want to learn. Doesn't matter if you've been in this game for years or you're brand new. People want to learn. It was about making it a networking event. People want to network. You want to meet more creators. If you're not networking, then you're not getting far, because it is about who you know, what connections you make. That's why with Nerds, it was always been about the connections. And it was about working with others, because there were a lot of third-party panels that we are very thankful for. And a part of showcasing those third-party panels was to showcase brands that people don't know that are out there. And we did create virtual booths. Our virtual booths were free. We weren't charging virtual booths, but we did charge for upgraded booths. And what we did, instead of charging someone for the weekend for a virtual booth, we gave them like an advertisement, really, and did a whole great virtual setup for them, which again becomes an advertisement on the site. So it's like, yeah, you have free, you could participate for free, but if you wanted to upgrade, it was there for you. You didn't have to necessarily do it, but it was there. And general admissions was free. And we put together some great VIP packages. And even with the, with the VIP, with the virtual booths, we created affiliate codes for those who paid. Those affiliate codes could have been we said it like, any of your followers who uses this affiliate code to buy a VIP package, we're going to pay you 10%. So it was about finding ways to help creators, one, showcase their work, network, learn about digital marketing, and help with making some extra money in the pocket. And a lot of people, I didn't make money in my store. I mean, it's about learning to market your store, because when you start to sell stuff virtually online, like for example on T Republic, Redbubble, and all that, you get hit their copyrights and all that. So it's about showing people like, yeah, listen, if you build just your space, you get people to follow you and all that, they're gonna buy from your site, your website directly, where you're not having to worry about paying those extra fees because you have your own website. And what we learned this year is just going to make the show better. We had a lot of great feedback from people. We looked at the metrics of detractors versus those who are going to attract people to the show. And believe it or not, our attractors was very, very high. And we proved too, because last year's virtual show made no money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last year's virtual show had 10,000 hits on the site. We doubled those numbers this year. We went international, and we showed that it can make money. Okay. Because we did actually. It's nothing to brag about, but the fact that if you could make $1, it works. Agreed. And the fact is that we wanted to reach out with everyone, and we didn't hesitate because we created the Discord groups and all that. We want to get people's feedback. And it's keeping that fresh in mind, and it gets us motivated to like, okay, we're gonna do the virtual. We're not saying we're never gonna do an in-person show again. Okay. But we're going to keep the virtual show, because at the end of the day, when you go to an in-person show, you're never going to replace the vibe that's there. But you're only exposed to the crowd that makes that show. Whereas now, as we can showcase you virtually, you're not just limited to this crowd that's at that show. You're also being exposed to other people who may have not have heard or saw you. And that's where we're going for that. I mean, again, we had registrations coming from Australia. We had registrations coming from the United Kingdom. We had registrations coming out from, I mean, we had an international cosplay submission from Japan.
Okay.
Our show used to be in Long Island, isolated to them. That's nothing against the Long Island crowd. That's nothing against them, because we loved everybody coming to the show and everything. It's all great and all that. We had a lot of fun. We just saw that when we did this virtual show 2 years in a row, we saw that for those creators, we can do something bigger for them.
Okay.
We're not trying to replace New York City Comic Con. We're not trying to replace any show. We're trying just to be our own show. And that's how we have to keep. That's why we keep up with that attitude, because we don't want to replace what other people are doing. They're doing their thing. Let them do it. They're great at what they do. We're not going to try to reinvent the wheel. We're just going to invent our wheel with the way how we do things. And that's that's what we want. We want people to have that experience, that they know if it's something that's an INBEON branded thing. Oh, we know what's INBEON branded. We know this, and we're always going to try to look out for people.
I think that's one of the things that is it's great to talk about, and it's also one of the a challenge. And Sean, you can chime in on this too.
Sure.
That whenever you're creating something, whether if it's a online digital con or if you're working on a piece of work, you're always asking yourself, what makes my content, what makes the project that I'm working on, what makes my story different than everybody else? And granted, we're all going to pull from the pot that of the things that have been done.
Yeah,
but I think, to your point, it's the real work is not let me copy what I've seen. The real work is, okay, what I've seen so far, these things work. Now that I have that to create my foundation for this project or this avenue that I'm about to go down, what can I add to it that makes it different? G for Geek, once again, we like to call ourselves a shoot the shit podcast. So even if we have guests on, we're going to do minimum research. But we want to spend time shooting the shit, listening, and, asking very subtle questions, because we know that people want to talk. People want to tell their story. Mm-hmm. So I think, deep diving into like, hey, here's question A, question B, question C. No, you don't really need to. For us, we don't need to do that, because we kind of know what our formula is. But I think, to your point, when you're talking about like INBEON CON, and that's something that I do like, that it's a con that feels like a long,
if
awesome
I can try,
skill
I guess
share.
I would also say it feels like one big artist alley filled with panels that artists themselves are working with.
Yes.
Right? Like, you're literally, these artists are talking to other artists, but they're also talking to fans. These artists are all talking to podcasters, but they're also talking to aspiring people. Right? Like, the show itself, INBEON CON, what made it so special was the fact that these are artists, these are creators that are trying to not only push themselves out there, but to show why their stuff is different, why their stuff is niche, as we've talked about in other shows. What is that niche that they do to make them, a must see or a must watch or a must buy, right? But also telling people, look, I'm not the only one. You have the talent. This is how you can unlock that talent.
Yeah, and a lot of it too was, there's a lot of people who did first time stuff at our show, which again, it's always been like that, even in person and beyond. I remember the last in-person show we held, which was at Hofstra University, and one of the young artists that was there, he was like 16, 15 tabling at an event, and we had a great conversation. Style was very influenced by Bob Camp and everything, and it felt good to provide that opportunity to him, because it was the first ever show he tabled at. INBEON CON was the first show I ever tabled at, and I was glad because Eric Hutch, who's the CEO of INBEON, the founder, and I remember when he started this, it was just him at a table. His wife was there, his son, his daughter wasn't even born at the time. And it was, or I believe she was. I remember it was just him and his family at the table. This was at Big Apple when I first met him, to see what he's grown into, and to get that honor of being a part of that. I mean, through Hutch, I met Law, because Law, again, he was there at the first INBEON Con that I participated in. Law was in the cosplay competition, as is, I always go, yo, your Sith Batman Beyond was just dope. And again, that's how I know Law was through his cosplay, and then to see him grow, because that's what INBEON has done, is help people grow into different things. Like Hutch was like, listen, I remember he approached me like, hey, yeah, you want to, just run the con? I need someone to run the con. And he would do that. He'll because he does that too sometimes with testing. And, at the end of the day, it's like, I didn't know anything about being a showrunner. And this was when we did the shows in person, and I ran that last show, and it was like over 5,000 people, but it's like just seeing the faces of everyone and all that. And it was like you said, INBEON was always that show that took Artist Alley out of Artist Alley and made that what it was supposed to be, was that we're showcasing this. So it didn't want to depend on celebrities or anything like that. And it's nothing against celebrities or people wanting to see them. It's just that there are some shows that sometimes celebrities will overshadow like all the other creators that are there. So we wanted to showcase creators. We were always like, we're a show for creators by creators, because that is what we did. It was a show for creators by creators, and regardless of whatever skill level of creator, we wanted to showcase that. And no matter where they're at in their status, we wanted to showcase that and show that creators, no matter what skill level, they can learn from each other and network with each other. And it was and when the pandemic happened, I remember Eric going, yeah, we're going to cancel. And I was bummed out because there was a lot of stuff already planned with bringing back panels and everything. And I was bummed out for one day. And I was like, you know what? This is an opportunity to move forward, because he announced that we were going to go virtual way before New York went to lockdown.
Okay.
So this was like in March of 2020. And I was like, what the hell is a virtual show? What's this? I don't understand it. Then ideas formed. Boom, that Google Doc goes out to him, and we're just throwing ideas, we're getting people, and there were a lot of ideas we pinned that were like, yeah, we can't do this. I mean, and then, we did the show. A lot of people don't know the story too, is that the first show, the website got hacked, and everything that took us months to build on the website, me, Eric, and Law had to put up in 3 days to still prepare the show.
Yeah, you told us that, yeah.
Yeah, it was really weird. And I mean, working for a cable company with internet service, you learn every day that, the vulnerabilities of sites getting hacked and all that. And, the server company, it was through a small window of when they did their backup, it got hacked, and it deleted everything. It was like a 5-alarm fire. And we got back up. So it was like me, Hutch, and Law put that all back up in 3 days, 3 sleepless nights and Red Bull, because our dedication was this. Because we were like, yeah, I think we're gonna have to cancel the show, and then we were like, you know what? No, we've advertised it. We're gonna do the show, and that was our dedication to people that first year. And again, even running the show that year, it was a lot. We learned about a lot of stuff that made it smoother this year. And there are things we learned this year. We learned the power of the limits of StreamYard, which we pushed this thing to its limit, and it was like, yo, it worked beautiful. And there are a lot of new things that we want to implement and expand on next year, and just expand of how we can make the virtual space something that people can come to enjoy and network. And when we do bring back the live show, we're still going to keep the virtual show, and it's going to be an extension of the live show.
Well, two questions actually. First question is, compared to last year's INBEON Con, how many more panels did you add on to this year?
We doubled.
You doubled, right?
We easily doubled. I this year we divided in teams of who was doing what. And so I was in charge with booking the panels, and I was like, I'm going to panel this thing out for 2 days, and I'm going to overload everyone's sensors, and I'm going to look for panels that people normally can't find. And I was like, part of it was also too, not all the panels from us, but what third party, like for example, Comic Book School opened both days with 2 phenomenal panels. Buddy Scalera, Ari, Aaron, all of them over there at Comic Book School were freaking awesome. They opened both days with 2 beautiful panels, which I thank them deep down from my heart from that. And again, Buddy opened up with a nice marketing panel with someone who's worked for Marvel for years. And I might tell people that's a great panel. Go watch it. You're learning about marketing from that. Tone hosted a marketing panel too. And again, it was like, well, why did you have 2 marketing panels? Because different views from different people you're going to learn from. Something's going to, like, Mark Franco was perfect for that panel because it was Mark Franco that said that don't get in for this for the money. If you get into stuff for the money, you're going to burn yourself out. Just get the fuck out. And I was like, you know what? Marcus, and I've learned a lot from Mark, Alex, Tom Aglio was there. So people don't know, but Tom, everybody's heard of Tom. If you heard a Papa John's commercial, you've heard Tom's voice. Tom is also over there at Project Infinity. He's doing a lot of great things, and he was part of the market panel because he helps with marketing for voice actors and his day-to-day job with that. We had Twitch streaming panels. We had some Twitch streamers that were up there because you know what? No one talks too much about Twitch streamings at conventions. And, and it was like, want to get people of all different skill levels of where their channel was at for them to talk. Because someone's going to say something that's going to resonate with somebody. Yeah. That's what we were looking to do, because it doesn't matter who if you resonated with one person on that panel, it's phenomenal. And I mean, and this year too, we did a music panel.
Okay.
We had some phenomenal artists there who, like Drew Kaboom, Nina Kreese, Lou Seif, and Tommy from the Floating Lighthouse, the bassist for the Floating Lighthouse, who's also the DM for Medusa's Cascade, and they talked about music. And again, those were actually the 2 highest watched panels, was the Twitch and the music panel. And it was like, again, we wanted to showcase something different. We wanted to showcase creators from all perspectives, the voice acting panels, and we wanted people to learn. We wanted people to network, and we wanted to showcase what these creators are doing, because every creator that participated, and there were creators who couldn't make it, due to various reasons, which again, they still reached out and everything, and I give them a lot of love because life happens. These happen even with live shows, and they're phenomenal creators. We still feature their information because we weren't going to be like, we're not petty people. We're not going to do it because life happens. And again, we don't want to like, oh, they didn't participate, take them off. No, it's like life happens. We're still going to showcase your information because you're a dope creator. We invited you for a reason because we believe in what you're doing.
Right.
And creators who participated, we believe in what you're doing, and we want to, like, everything is still up there on the website. We're keeping it up for a whole year, so it's like a convention that's on demand now, and we're like, we want people to keep going back to learn, keep going back. Let me write this stuff down. Keep going back to find these creators, because everyone, including you guys, being a part of, again, thank you for being part of the podcast panel. 2 years in a row, you guys are part of that panel. Thank you again, and again, it's the nuggets that you guys provide with what you do, and it's the passion behind what you guys do. We want to showcase that. And we want to say that it's not showcased enough, because we're never going to step on any other like conventions' toes and all that. We see it as not as competition. We see it as friendly competition, where it's like, yeah, listen, if you see a creator at a show and you think they're doing dope, reach out to them, invite them to your show, because we feel like, you have exposure to other people that we may not have exposure to that can help this creator. That's how we see it.
Yeah. So my second question deals with what you were just talking about, and it does a little bit towards something Sean said earlier, that the networking part of INBEON CON, and something that I really appreciate with being invited 2 years in a row, is I think what makes INBEON CON very different is the fact of you can be an audience member experiencing something I don't think I've ever experienced at a live con. And that's seeing the interaction of content creators who've never met, who don't really interact, network, and learn information at the same time you're learning about them and learning that information. So with that being said, have you ever thought about, with doing a INBEON Live, how would you find a way to integrate that same experience into an INBEON Live?
It's simple. You reach out to the people you know. For example, I told people right now, and to this day, and I share it with the network at New York City Comic Con, Creative Aftercon, which is one of the many networks I've been a part of. They're meeting at 8:30 p.m. at Twins Pub. And I told people, like, yeah, if you want to meet creatives, go. We're always cheerleading that. And it's about, taking that and integrating that into the live show is those same elements, because all it is just letting people know, like, hey, there's going to be a network, because INBEON Con's always been a networking event for creators. Like, we would wait to the final hour to do the cosplay contest, which will allow people to go walk around and talk to each other. And again, it's always been like, even Eric's wife, who runs a show called Gaia's Essence, it's always been about people networking, because your strongest bonds, you never know who you're going to meet at a show. And I tell people, if you go to a show, doesn't even matter if it's our show, if you go to a show, even if you feel like it's a bad show, you didn't make any money, I'm gonna tell you how it's a worse show. Because I look at a person and go, so how many connections did you make? If you made no connections, then you were at a bad show. Because at the end of the day, the promoters do what they do to get people there and all that. But if you and I understand that these are businesses we're running, but we can't, we saw in the middle of we saw during the pandemic, we can't fully depend on shows to make that money out there as a business, because if your income was dependent on the show, you lost a lot of money and you put yourself in the hole. I even admit to myself, I approached handling cons the wrong way. And that was a big lesson for me to learn. And that's a lesson. Listen, at the end of the day, and I learned this, it's like fail is his first attempt in learning. Never be ashamed of that. And, we all failed, and it was the first attempt in learning. And it was now learning how to go with this new world. Or it's like, if something happens, or if lockdown happens, or if shows cancel again, am I prepared for that? And he's just preparing those steps. And
I don't think you guys failed. And so we kind of.
I was saying personally for me. Personally for me, that's what it was.
Yeah, but you didn't. So,
but
and I think I've said this to you guys before. Like something that I really admire from you guys is you did what several people came to terms with, right? Dealing with the pandemic, don't know what to do because now we're limited to social gatherings, and I think, from a business standpoint, you did something that a lot of businesses failed at, and that was saying to ourselves, we are a business, how do we want to grow, and what are we willing to do to adapt? And I think even on a creative level, if you cannot adapt to your situation, then you're kind of pushing yourself backwards. You're kind of taking yourself out of the spotlight. You're looking at it from a one-dimensional straight line instead of saying, what are my options?
Yeah, and it's like this. Again, when I said I failed, I think I handled going into conventions wrong, because I was all, I got caught up in that whole thing. Was like, I need to make this money. I need to make this money. I need to make this money. And that's when I was like, no, I need to make these connections. And I understand that you got to make money. And maybe I shouldn't have gone to as many conventions as I did. I could have just purchased a ticket to just go in, not as a vendor, but as someone to go in and let me see how many connections I can make. Because at the end of the day, it's like when you do buy a table at a show, a lot of the times it's like, okay, I got to make that table back. And another thing too, that people were like, oh, I made my table back. That's awesome. But here's the other thing. You also got to think about if you spent on hotel, gas. These are all factors that came in there. And I think and at the end of the day too, when you're a vendor, you can connect with fans. And that's awesome. I've seen vendors who are great with fans who connect with them and everything. And that's a way to get your stuff out there. But I've seen vendors who sit there and they don't connect with anybody. And they just sit there and they're like this on their phone and shit. But again, it was a fail for me before the pandemic, and it took that realization, I have to approach this differently. Like a lot of people ask me, oh, you're gonna be at shows? I'm like, I'll purchase a ticket to go hang out at a show, but I'm not gonna buy a table like before. Like I've been to shows where I sit there at the table, and there's no one there. So I'm like, let me make a connection with someone, because I'm like, especially when they're asking for like crazy, like some shows are asking for close to New York Comic Con prices, which I thought was ridiculous. But that's personally me. But at the end of the day, it's just, you know, it's a learning lesson and learning how to adjust. And when it came down to wanting to do the virtual show, again, I'll say it again, is that we weren't looking to replace the in-person experience. It was more about helping creators learning and seeing, you know, ways we can help them learn to also digitally advertise themselves. Okay. So that's the route we went with that.
No, and it's a good route. So like, it's funny because I was gonna ask you, like, what is more beneficial? Like, because I know there's probably people out there that are like, oh well, you know what, Artist Alley is, you know, the real heart of Comic-Con, but do people really like spend their time there and their money there? You know, and what you said is actually pretty accurate. I was going to ask the question, what's more important, making money or creating connections? But you answered it before I even asked it, you know, and at the end of the day, like, it's funny because much like with Nertino, when we first officially met.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The con itself was very low key, very low level, very few people attended. But the connections there were long term. Like, we met people like, you know, the Garbled podcast people that were there, you know, people that we still talk to today and we still interact with. You know, I met a lot of people there that I like interact with. Even when I was at Colossal Con, I saw somebody I knew from like back then, and then we just clicked, right? So it's like, you're right. Having those connections and having those people help you with your business, you know, by giving you advice, by giving you, you know, locations to be like, well, this is the best thing to do. Like when you told us to go hit up Rhode Island, right, and do a video out there, that is still, if I'm not mistaken, one of our highest viewed videos.
Yeah. Yeah, right? you guys had fun up there.
Yeah,
we had fun, and it showed.
Special thanks to Hannibal for taking us out there. Like, we definitely want to work more with him. He's doing his own projects right now, but like, yeah, like that was a really awesome con.
Yeah, I love Rhode Island. It's one of the shows I always have fun at. It just sucks I'm not going to be there again this year, because again, it's one of those shows that I had to take the reality and learn, like, you know, I want to go up there with more original stuff, more representing the brand, and give people something. But because at the end of the day, it's nothing against any artist that's sitting in an Artist Alley. I go like this, like, you do fan art, that's perfect. Do it. Do you? I did the fan art. I don't want to get lost into it anymore. I want to be able to now push original content out there. And I know people are like, well, it's tough to push original content. I'm like, yeah, but I'm, you know, at the end of the day, I want to push something that's more originally made, and nothing. Again, it's not shade to anybody. I don't want people to think that and take it the wrong way, because I know some beautiful artists that are out there that do some great work and everything. I feel like this. I feel like my style doesn't stick out too much with fan art unless I'm really, really enjoying the piece, like the Spider-Man piece I did. Because I feel like when I was doing a lot of fan art, I'm just like, I'm just trudging this because this is trending right now. And then you could see that there wasn't much love behind it. Whereas now it's like, if I'm focused a lot of my original artwork, a lot of my original content, there's more love behind that, because now I'm approaching something that I like more of doing. And it's like, I got tired of drawing Spider-Man. I literally, like, someone asked me to draw Spider-Man. I'm like, I don't feel like someone asked me, and I was like, I know someone, I was sending someone else to commission, because I really don't feel like it it's like this. Like, it was fun working on Mr. Stupendous because it was original IP. And it was Ari's original character, which is going to be in a comic book school anthology that's coming out. And it was fun working on that. And again, it was getting to showcase my style and everything. And, you know, it was fun working on Wayward Raven's comic strips, Damn Heroes. And getting to draw the strips and everything, because it's like, you know, because again, you have 50 million Spider-Man out there, but you know, you have very few artists that are drawing Ari's character, Mr. Stupendous. And I'm like, I that was more fun for me to draw. And then, you know, and then he was like, yeah, we're gonna put him through different scenarios. I got to draw him in make it look like it was 90s Rob Liefeld style. I was like, oh, this is dope. Let me add all the patches and just have fun with it, man.
And
So
that's good.
I'm
Uh-oh, Charlie
about to
cut
cause
out.
some trouble because whenever it comes to fan art, I have unpopular opinion. Here we go. There are a lot of good artists out there who I think fan art is one of those mediums that it's great to venture and it's great to take a moment to stop there. But I also believe that there are a lot of artists who stay there for far too long. And what I mean is, if you look at the energy and the attention they put into drawing someone else's character, it leads you to go to that question: where's your own characters? Where's your own work? And I'm not trying to say that like fan art is bad. I'm not trying to say that people shouldn't do fan art. I do believe, in Geektopians, I know you're going to come at me, or some people are going to come after me. I do feel, and this is my perspective, I do feel that some people stay too long in the fan art section, in the sense of they're constantly drawing someone else's characters and trying to make that character theirs, which it's not. There's so much more to it, and I get it. It's hard to break an original character into the scene. Indie artists have been saying it for so much, and that's because, once again, we've kind of, at least in the Western civilization, we've put like all our superheroes from Marvel and DC and Image on this pedestal that if they're not that superhero, then they don't get the independent attention, or they don't get the attention. All these other characters are below. They're not even C, they're not even D. They're just indie and beneath that. And I'm just like, there's a lot of great characters out there, a lot of great stories, but it's also shadowed. It's clouded by both, the mainstream comics, and then down from the mainstream comics, you have fan art. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I mean, that's just how I feel like.
For me, it was like this, like again, like there's certain artists whose styles I really love. I always have to buy a piece from shout out to Edwin Huang, who does some amazing artwork. He's worked for both like doing stuff for Udon, and I picked up his original character book, Rogues Gallery, which again is a phenomenal book, and I was so happy to pick it up. But like, I love what Ed does. His style is just beautiful, and he's worked on the Street Fighter comics and everything. And sometimes, some people do that to showcase like their style and all that. I spend a lot of time too between Artist Alley and Small Press. Small Press, I feel like that's where you find a lot of the up and coming original comics. Like, for example, that's where I met Wayward Raven and learned about a lot of comics like the Ascension and everything. Picked up a bunch of books and learned that Mark was a master brewer. That's where, again, I see a lot of, like, for example, Dead Man's Party. Dead Man Party was the first original comic I picked up at New York City Comic Con, built a relationship with Scott Barnett and Jeff Marzek, the creators behind that book. It got picked up by another small company called Darby Pop, who has the rights to do the Bruce Lee comics. And Jeff, who runs that company, he's a phenomenal guy too. And Scott was always, and I'm always happy to see like him and his family doing well. He was always, I consider like part mentor too, because he would offer me advice and everything. And we would just geek out talking about artwork and all that shading. And then when Jeff was there at the table, we would talk about writing on. Jeff was definitely a teacher, man. But Dead Man's Party, it was a beautiful ride. I know that with some people, they get scared of indie comics because they want a finished book. Dead Man Party, I was so like, they were going to do 4 issues, then they extended it to 5 because it was just such a beautiful arc, such a beautiful story. And I know it was coming out every year because they were putting their time in it. And that's some of the things I love when it comes to like collecting original books. It's like getting out of that mainstream because there's just so many great titles out there. I wish I could buy them all. Well, obviously I can't. And it's nothing against the big titles, because every once in a while, I'll pick up Spider-Man or Juggernaut, whatever, Deadpool. But and it's nothing against the artists who do fan art, because there's a lot of phenomenal artists out there whose styles do shine with it. And there's some people who do it because I get it. When you're selling your original content, you feel like it is harder because you already have to market to people who are coming to the show like, oh, I want that Spider-Man, mommy, I want this, I want that, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna do something that's the grab because I got caught up in that myself. Okay. But I'm like, I'm at that point where it's like, I'm not, I want to get recognized for my original works and showcase that. And I know for a fact I'm not gonna make a lot of money in Artist Alley with an original book. So that's why it's like one of the things I'm learning is like, how can I prepare the script for this and see if other mediums that this can carry over. And it's about creating something that people can pick up and enjoy. If one person picks up and enjoys it, I did my job, and this is something that I created. But if people really want to talk about making money on it, then, you learn how you can take it from point A, point B to point C, because look at Webtoons. Okay. Webtoons right now is a lot of original content that's now being made into shows, animations, and now they have to deal with DC. They had to deal with Crunchyroll. They have to deal with DC. So I mean, there are a lot of original ways to get your platforms out there, and that's what we're trying to showcase too with the digital. Because when fans start to buy your stuff digitally and start to showcase your stuff digitally and follow you, when you go to an in-person con with a huge digital following, you're going to do well at the show. Right. Because people are like, oh, you're going to be there in person. I want to see you in person now because you're the creator of this series that I've been collecting. So it's about building that following. And that's one of the things, again, goes right back into the virtual show. We want to show people how to build that so that they can, when they go to an in-person show, no matter where it's at, you have a following that's there that, you're going to do well.
And Geektopians, before you come at me, let me just make this very clear.
Come at him. Come at Charlie.
When I talk about fan artists, I mean more of if someone was to ask you to show your portfolio, and in your portfolio you have all this amazing work of other people's character, but none of your own characters, I find that to be very problematic. And granted, that might be your thing, and I don't want to put people into like an age range. I just really do feel like there are some very talented people that, in my opinion, they stay too long in the fan art realm, and to the point that their portfolio is made up of great illustrations and designs, but they are new variants and interpretations of other people's characters and none of their own.
I love how he just highlights that. Yeah, well, okay, so if I can be the other piece to that, I feel like a lot of people... I do agree with the fact that... Oh, shut up. I do agree with the fact that in order for people to actually make money at these booths, that you have to commission stuff. Right? And 9 times out of 10, they want to see the artist that they like commission their favorite character. Whether it is a Spider-Man, a Batman, a Superman, these people do want to see, okay, so how would you take this interpretation of Batman into your artistry hands? You understand? And to me, I think that's also a fair play to where it's like, all right, as an artist, I understand this is a very common superhero trope versus the original stuff that I'm trying to do. But let's say, for example, they do a commission where it's an original concept of that central character. Sebastion, as you're the artist, do you feel that could be considered more of a challenging aspect rather than just having, just to do a common character, just to get the paycheck?
No, I mean, for example, for me, I did the Spider-Man crossing over Borderlands because that was just something I wanted to do, and I hadn't seen it. I wanted to do a mashup. If you're an artist that's getting created to do something of your own interpretation and someone's paying you for it, go right ahead, have fun with it. Just do your interpretation. I always recommend is that, find something that screams out your style, because it is hard to stick out in a sea of styles, because there's a lot of phenomenal artists out there. I mean, I give you an example. Bun Lung creates some phenomenal character art, and he is a marketing guru when it comes to marketing at cons. He markets himself pretty well with his setup, and his style is very flashy. Christopher Uminga and Chrissy Zulo, both artists whose styles are phenomenal. Both of those artists because they've worked on their stuff and all that. And even though like a lot of the stuff is fan art, they have beautiful styles, and they've gotten their stuff where there was actually a DC toy line for each of them. It was like the Artist Alley variants and all, because they were just very popular in Artist Alley. And Chrissy and Chris are awesome people. Bung is awesome when you meet them and everything. But it's like it's about paying your dues too, because they did pay their dues. Edwin Huang, who's had his stuff turned into Street Fighter statues, who's worked and done Mega Man comics, Street Fighter comics. His style is phenomenal. So it's like, you have to make sure and the thing is this. Make sure that you're also doing a portfolio that's outside of the fan art, that showcases what you can do. For example, some people are looking for production artists. Learn to do production art too on the side. Production art is just drawing figures. Like if you could draw like the whole concept and everything, like concept art, like it's drawing the figures, like it shows that you can do concept drawings. Have a sample of sequentials. Having samples of, if you really want to do comics, have a sample of sequentials. And a lot of the times, don't do it with main branded characters. Create throwaway characters in a small thing that shows that you can tell a story, because like if you're gonna do sequentials to showcase the DC, they don't want to see Marvel sequentials.
Okay.
Showcase something that's gonna pretty much showcase your style and that you can tell a story between a character. And I mean, and this is just from observation, how I've seen people do it. Be engaging with people. Learn to be engaging. I know that we're all like introverts and everything. It can get hard talking to people. But when you're more engaging with people and you save the sale for last, like for example, if you and I are having a conversation, I join in the booth and we're having a conversation, have a conversation. In the middle of the conversation, do your pitch. Like, hey, if you don't mind, we're having this conversation. Here's my pitch, blah, 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 blah. Tell them about it. Come with a good elevator pitch that hooks them in right away. Like, for example, this is my book. It's about a mad scientist experiment that goes wrong. All hell breaks loose. But yeah, what we were talking, and that will stick. And I've seen people do that. Like I had one guy, Josh, I can't remember his last name. He's Duke dude. And he looks at me, he goes, yeah, I'm going to sell this lady all 4 books.
Oh, wow.
Gave her the pitch. He's like, I'm going to start from here. Well, how the ending ends. Gave her the full pitch and then engaged her in conversation. She brought all 4 books. And it was the fact that she purchased his character and, and his passion for it. So, because when you're not passionate about your stuff, it can tell. Because like when you're like this all day, and if you can't speak, get someone who can speak for you. Don't be a salesman, because I've had that when I've went to shows where there was this one guy, he was being a salesman at the show. I didn't want to buy his stuff because I'm like, dude, and it's like pretty much don't be pushy. And don't steal people from another person's table. That is very frowned upon. Because when you do that, I've seen that happen.
I have not seen that. So explain a bit more, because this is new to me. So explain more.
Before you do that, because I want you to answer this question too, ladies and gentlemen, Geektopian, we're about to get into the dark side of cons. Because you said something earlier that I had questions about that I don't think I've heard on any panels, that I would like to have you kind of like cover that too. But could you hit Sean's question first?
The question was,
so the question is like, what is stealing? Like, as persons who we don't do booths, right? We're not booth people yet, right? And we don't understand some of these concepts. And being the fact that you did run a physical and virtual con, I believe this is one of those unwritten rules that you talk about, where it's like, if you do this, we're not inviting you back next year.
Well, no, it's like this. It's like when you're in like Artist Alley and all that, you're all showcasing your stuff, and when people are looking around, and then you're purposely doing something to grab someone's attention.
Okay.
And it's like, let them look around. You like understand we're here, we're all, trying to sell stuff. And I used to see that sometimes. And a lot of people like, yo, dude, like they were just taking a look at my stuff. What are you doing? Like I've seen one dude walk up to a bunch of people who were looking at someone else's stuff and literally pull them away from that person's table. I'm like, dude, that's frowned upon. You don't do that. It's totally disrespectful. It's frowned upon because it's like, if I go and do that at your table and pull people away, you're going to be pissed. And it's like, it's like if I'm like this talking to my phone and all that, then fine, I'm not paying attention to them. I'm not. But if I'm engaging in them and you do something deliberate like that, and I've seen it happen at shows, and it hasn't happened to me, thank God. Like, I've seen it happen to people, and I've seen, and they're like, yo, fuck this guy. Like, what's he doing? Like, he's doing this bullshit. And I've had people come to me, complain to me about that person. Like, yo, this guy's being a fucking dick, man. Like, he has to get on the show and all that. And it's like, yeah, the con drama gets real when it comes to that. And it's like, it's learning to be a good table neighbor. And I have to say, like, everyone who I've tabled next to, they've been awesome neighbors, like Rodney Fike, who's just there still. And again, it comes to showing those connections. And when Rodney was talking to people, I'm not trying to take people from his table. He wasn't trying. And we will let them, it's like, yeah, they're there. We'll wait for them to come down because people are going to walk down. And obviously, if they stop and take a look, something at your table caught their eye. And then that's when you engage them. You engage with that conversation. If they're just walking down like this and all that, and like, hey, hi, how you doing, and like that, then obviously that person's not engaged with what you're doing and all that. It's something that didn't catch their eye. But it's like you see, like I said, doing shows and all that. I've seen a lot of the dark side of cons, and then I've seen a lot of the con family who are there for each other and all that. I've seen people get handwritten notes put on their tables saying, oh, you're a Photoshop artist for an unknown anonymous person.
Woo-wee.
It's easy to do that anonymously. I've seen that happen to someone, and I'm like it was an artist who I knew, and it's like he was having a great time at the show, and it was that one note that made him feel like shit.
Damn.
And it was like, dude, you don't do that. That means that, you're like, at the end of the day, it's like, I saw this like this. I'm like, he's a great, like, to me, it's like this. You're doing a Photoshop art. You're a great colorer. You're a great concept artist because, like, that's, studios need concept artists like that who are doing stuff like that for big production pictures. They're doing the photo renderings and the manipulations. Yeah. And it's a way to showcase your stuff. If you're selling to something and, you never know, like, that's a way of showcasing your portfolio. But if you're going to, and it's called Artist Alley, it's not called Comic Artist Alley, it's called Artist Alley, and I think we forget that sometimes. And I understand it's competition, we want to be seen, but it's like we forget that it's Artist Alley, it's showcasing artists. We're all artists out there trying to showcase ourselves.
Future showcase of the immortals.
That's a clear under the table like shade right there. Like, damn.
Under the table, dude. You put it on top of the table.
No, I'm like, it breaks my heart because it's like you hear stories, and when people tell you don't meet your heroes, and again, I don't throw names out there about anybody and all that. I'm honored to meet a lot of the people I've done. Like Buzz has been awesome. Buzz is one of those fun dudes to talk to. And I remember Buzz. I asked him, Buzz, will you like take a look at my stuff? First thing goes, oh, don't go crying. Like if I start ripping up your shit and all that, telling like this shit is garbage, and all that, I tell him, Buzz, you're the master. You're someone who's been doing this for years. I want those opinions. I'm not gonna cry like a little bitch. And he gave me meaningful feedback. And at the end of the day, like some artists still do that just to test to see if you have the cojones to take that negative criticism. And I appreciate Buzz for everything, even the conversations I have with him whenever I get to see him. I'm always happy to hear about updates about him and his family and everything. But like I said, though, there's some people who are like, and I won't let it be named, that there's some people who they'll say never meet your heroes because some people just, you're like, wow. You're like, wow.
Do you think cons are the right place to be having your stuff critiqued by another artist?
It's supposed to be like that, where like if it's a busy show like New York City Comic Con, I understand how tough that is. because at the end of the day, you're at New York City Comic Con, boom, 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 you're busy. I've been to New York City Comic Con as a fan, someone who was covering it, and I've worked behind a table. So I respect all aspects for it. I say nothing about New York City Comic Con. If you can't meet with someone because you're tired and all that, sometimes you're physically drained because that con beats the shit out of you. But if you're at a small show that you can see that you have time, don't be a dick.
Okay.
Just don't. That's the logic of it. Just don't be a dick. If you literally like I appreciate, I remember I spoke with Eric Larson and I appreciate his answer. I go, hey Eric, is there any way I can reach out to you, Mr. Larson, and he said, no, I really don't have the time for that. He's like, but I'll give you some critique. I appreciated his answer. He was honest, and that was honesty. Again, I've Jake Parker, who took his time to show me some stuff. I appreciate what he did. But I've seen people, like I've seen shit where there was like someone go up to someone who was like, oh, that shirt is dope. Where can I get that shirt? And the artist looked at them like, no, you can't get that shirt. It's the exclusive club.
What?
And the logic behind that person's shirt was that it was supposed to be inclusive and it wasn't. It's like you advertise as inclusive and it wasn't. And I was like, that's not what you do to people. And I've seen other artists too shit on other artists. And I'm like, you don't do that. Like, listen, at the end of the day, what you say to your friends in the background, all that, that's fine. Let's go ahead. Go do that. Go do that. That's off the floor and all that. Do your shit. Talk your smack. Go ahead. It's not, but when you're doing it on the floor, it's purposely in front of people, in front of a crowd, try to make someone feel bad. Then I'm like, we got to put a kibosh on that.
Yeah, that's just blatantly disrespectful, and you can't do that.
So you talked about this earlier, the table. I've always heard so many comments about what goes into renting a table and the ups and downs, especially when it comes to breaking even, not breaking at all. So tell us about, because and not just us, but I know that there are probably listeners out there who are indie or working to get their own booths and they don't know this. So as a person who's had their tables, kind of share that information with people and the dark side of it.
It's a learning game. Not every table is going to be ran the same. It's really a learning game. It's learning how to position your stuff because when it comes to running your table, you want to feel like it's location, and at times it is. And at times it isn't. Sometimes it's definitely the crowd that shows up because you can go to shows, have to bomb its location, everything, but if people aren't showing up, you're gonna bomb. But running the table, there's no sugarcoating it. It's not easy. It isn't. I feel like there's expectations you run into with running your table, like I'm gonna make all this money, I'm gonna do great. It really is a learning experience that you constantly learn. And it's a constant experience that you have to be ready for adjustment and disappointment. Okay. Because if you're not making money at a show, it is a huge disappointment because you start to like, well, I paid this for the table. I paid this for the hotel. I paid for that. So it's prepping for loss. And that's like it with any business. And I told, I'm going to pass on the best advice I was given. Learn business. Take a business course. Learn it. Why? Because you're going to learn things. You're always going to learn about being in this industry, but the one thing you're never going to learn is business, and you don't want to do it where it's like, and that's why I'm like, I can admit to my mistakes. I took a business course and I had 1 year where I did phenomenal, and then that last year I was like, it fucking sucked, and I was like, how am I approaching this? Yeah. And it lets you learn things about where you're bleeding money at, if you're in the red, if you're in the black, if you're this and that. You start to learn these things, and you start to learn about your overhead. You start to learn about what you're spending money on. That it's like you start to spend money on unnecessary, like if you're spending money on unnecessary shit. I mean, I've had prints that I'm throwing out that just never sold, and it's learning that.
Okay.
It's learning to fire customers. Don't be afraid to do that. I was told by a real estate agent. learn to fire your customers, because we do get into this mentality where the customer's always right, but when the customer isn't, you just got to learn, because we get really like, I need to make this money. Sure, understandable. Your real customers are going to pay you. Okay. No questions asked. Okay. Your phony customers are the ones that are like, well, that's too much, that's this. You got to learn to fire them, because you have to understand your value. Because, and what I mean by that is, again, don't be a dick. But it's like, it is learning to fire people, because I've had that where it's like I bend over backwards trying to please someone for a bunch of work for a small amount of money. And it's like, I could have charged you this. And it's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that again. Okay. Mm. And they do, and people do that to prey on others. So you have to, like, I did a convention, and I have to give it up to this kid. This young kid was walking around to every artist asking him, how much is it to draw this? How much would you charge me for this commission? Got to the point where his dad's like, stop talking to these fucking artists. I'm not paying for anything like that. He was trying to get the lowest rate for an artist to draw something. And he was even going to some tables like, oh, well, this artist is going to, and to me, I was like, you know what? I fired that kid. I was like, I'm not drawing for you.
I mean, I respect the hustle, but like.
No, I do. I mean, not to me, it's like this. I do respect the hustle. You want to see where you're going to get your dollar at and all that. But it's like, at the same time, if you're trying to get, me to lower my rates, or any artist for that to lower their rates, because it's like, well, this artist is going to draw it for this price. No, you don't respect my skill, because you're going to pay me for my skill, because there's a reason why you're getting finicky like that. Like, well, this artist is going to draw. I'm like, okay, then go to that artist. Pay them. They're going to make that money. I'm glad they let them make that money. But understand, this is what I'm going to charge you.
Yeah, and I understand that. So we're winding down. We're getting to that nice little marker part. But there's one thing I wanted to ask vehemently before we let you go. All right, and I figured this is going to take a little bit of chunk of time. Right, as a person who hosts a podcast, who also hosts cons, and basically somebody who just literally puts themselves out there to have other artists come to their shows, I have to ask you one very important question.
I didn't do it.
No. What actually makes a good press kit to show off the work of the artist? Like, what would you do as a press kit? What would you want to receive as a press kit? What would be like the optimal thing? Like, say, for example, us as a podcast, right? We want to put ourselves out there to another show, right? And this is our press kit. What would you ask of us?
So putting out there a good press kit, because seeing a bunch of them that've come through, and obviously if it's something that you want covered, I would try to send them a synopsis of what I'm doing. When it comes to the comic. If I want them to deep dive into the book, then I'm going to send you a press sample of the book. Okay. Because I want to get that feedback and get your actual thoughts on the book. Okay. And we've had some people send us their comics, and they've been great reads. They'll send us the digital comic, and we'll deep dive into it. And I mean, if you really want that, I would recommend for people to do that. I'm not saying it because we want to receive free shit. It's just that we want to review it so we can, go over the details that you want to cover. Mm-hmm. Give us a background. When I'm putting my press kit together, I've thrown art samples. I've thrown in, different works I've worked on, like a resume of works. Like, I've worked on Lucky Zilla number 20 with Rich Dresden as one of the writers. I've worked as a cover artist for him on issue 11. I worked on Wayward Raven. So I've worked with Arif on Mr. Stupendous. So these are things I do want to make sure that gets shot out and looked at. So I would put that in the press kit of stuff that I've worked on. So you want to do that, include that in your resume. May not cover everything, but it's great to go over that. Your different social media accounts, you want to link those there so that, if there's anything you want us to pull from your social media, it's there. You could give us a brief history. Doesn't have to be anything crazy long. just something like a brief history, like 2-3 paragraphs. Anything beyond 3 paragraphs, I think, gets lost in the mix because it's like, then it's a lot to read. If you want someone to review your book, and if you're asking, don't hesitate to ask someone this. When they send you a full book, don't hesitate to ask them, what chapters would you like us to cover? So this way you can mitigate time, because if they send you a whole ass book, you're not going to be able to, realistically, you're not going to be able to cover a whole ass book. Especially like a book like maybe like, let's say example, like maybe like this thick or something like that, or thicker than this. So ask them, what are the important chapters you want us to cover? And those are the chapters you hit. And those are the chapters you read. And if you're a creator who sends a whole ass book, highlight the chapters you want covered.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you're a voice actor, we've had people send. I'm sorry, Sean.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
We've had people.
My bad.
No, if you're a voice actor, we've had people send us voice demos.
Okay.
And like Keiko give us a link to her channel and everything to listen to everything. Amy Davis had her demo reel up, and we listened to it and all that, which was really pretty dope. And it gives you more insight into the work that they do.
Okay, so what about? I hear myself. Hold on.
I'm hearing myself.
Having some audio.
I'm hearing voices.
Alone in the room.
It's somebody's speakers outside.
So, Sean, do you want to take a second to kind of fix that?
It ain't me.
No. Oh, no, you're better now. You're good now. Thank you. Thank you for coming back to us.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Almost
anyway,
back to the green.
So, let's say, for example, we send out something to like one of the artists, right? Do we also have to send out information about us to them so that they could give a better understanding of what we do? Or is it the responsibility of the artist to know what our podcast is and stuff like that?
What I recommend with that is this, because we've rarely had to do it on Nerds. If it's someone who doesn't know your stuff and you want to send them a link to your podcast, like, yes, and we want to podcast, do some creative interviews, and they want to, get a feel for what you do, you can send them a link. This way they're, oh, okay, this is cool. May get a yes, may get a no. That's if you like, that's when you're doing the code networking.
Okay.
When you're doing, when someone reaches out to you, then you really don't have to send them anything because they're reaching out to you.
Okay.
It's now you have to ask for that stuff. So it's like, yeah, if you want us to cover and all that. I mean, don't hesitate to tell people like, yeah, we may not have any spots at this time either, because like it does come sometimes crazy because you want to interview everybody, but sometimes like you have to be realistic. I can't interview everybody. We can't. You don't want to burn yourself out. And like people who, when you're networking with them and all that, building those connections, like, hey, yeah, I run a podcast. If you're interested in coming on, oh yeah, cool. And like, yeah, when you get the opportunity, here's an email. Just send me a press kit of stuff you want us to cover. Simple as that. And and people will send you stuff.
I think we talked about this before. One of the things is like when you're having people come on, sometimes, and I want your thoughts on this. Should you really stress to the person to listen to your show? I think I was asking you a question recently about like, when you have people come on, do you ever find yourself having somebody come on and they as much as you invested in the research to have them on the show so that way you can promote them, you can clearly tell that they never took the time to really like engage your show to see what they're about to be a part of?
No, I don't take it to heart or anything. And I think it actually makes off for a good interview, actually, because we've had people tell us like, yo, that was the most chill interview I've ever been on. So it's like they weren't expecting it. And we're like, yeah, we want to be known as a chill podcast. It's chill, laid back. It's not sucker, because it's like, I feel like with that, it creates expectation in people. So it's like when we do that first encounter, it kind of butters people up for the next encounter. And like, okay, we're going to bring you in the live show into the madhouse. And they're kind of like prepped. What has helped, and it helped with someone who is a little bit more introverted to kind of open up for the interview, is that I did a pre-show kind of thing. I kind of stole it from what was it? Let me give them a shout out, Comics Cast. Gerald does like a pre-show with his guest. Kind of get to talk to him a little bit. And we spent hours that we geeked out one time just talking, and shout out to them at Comics Cast. But it helped out because I kind of stole that idea with them and spoke to someone who was a little bit more of an introvert, and they kind of warmed up. So that when we did the interview, they were cool as shit. And it was more about creating that comfort for them. So sometimes you do that sometimes, and it helps you kind of warm up to the guys so they're expecting something. So it's like, yeah, it's like, you know, and we don't do that with everybody because like, you know, but it's like, it does help with some people. Mm-hmm. But like, you know, I never take it offense. Like if they haven't listened to the show before, that's fine. If they're reaching out for us to come on the show, then obviously they know something because they've heard of something or a friend has recommended them to us. Okay. Which that's also cool too. When you get your person reaching out like, yo, I want to come on your show. That's like the coolest fucking feeling in the world. You're like, holy shit, I'm recognized. But no, I don't expect it. And I mean, the only time I've done that where I sent the show link is like someone who maybe have a huge following, like, yeah, this is our show, want to check it out, this is a bunch of Creator Series interviews. Has it worked? Yes and no. And honestly, everyone who's come on has been people who we vibe with, and whether we knew them before or not, it's just been like, you know what, I take it as they were the right fit, right people to come on the show because we vibe with them. They're dope, they're cool people, and they're awesome when we build relationships. People who haven't come on the show, I'm not going to say that they're people we don't vibe with or anything like that, because you never know, because I'm never going to say never, because it's like the WWE mentality. Never say never. You never know. Yeah. It's just not the right time for this person to be on the show. Okay. They're just either too busy or it's just not the right time right now. And eventually I want to say that eventually we're going to have everyone in the world on our fucking show. And just shooting the shit with us, and so that this way we could be like, yeah, check out the other podcast networks that we're part of, go on their shows too, go on Cast the Craze, go on G is for Geek, go on Keiko's Podcast, like all these other shows that we know of that are dope as fuck people who we've had on the show too. And I love it when guests start to cross over and create stuff. Like, I got this rush when I first saw Lou Seif go on Catch the Craze. I was like, holy shit, it's happening. And it's the same thing when you guys got to interview Ari and Chris. I was like, I thought that was cool as shit. Same thing when people went on Mike Gracia show, when they start doing, I love that. To me, it's like, it's creating a network, it's creating relationships, and it's people. I'm like, I'm seeing people I know who geeked out on my show with me, geeking out on their shows, creating some even more dope shit. I want to see this.
I mean, that's what the game plan is. Our game plan is to shoot the shit with everybody.
Listen, you know, our biggest show is gonna be when Catch the Craze comes on. That's gonna be our biggest show.
Oh man, I don't know if Sam and Joy's gonna take over.
Nah, man.
I love it. Man, Sam was Sam the Savage. That's what we're gonna call him. Sam the Savage.
Sam the Savage.
George the Dreamer Medina, Sam the Savage, Vera.
Well, I want to try to, and I don't want to put this out there right away, but I do want to try to get them in for November, or really fit into their schedule, because they're doing such amazing things on their end, and they're another one of those podcasts that, you know, kind of an inspiration, just seeing them like kind of like they went from like they kind of vanished for a bit and then they came back, and I don't know, I think that's just really interesting, just following them. So hopefully we can get them in November. So
no, I hope you guys don't hesitate to reach out. Sam and George are, again, I love working with Sam and George, nuggets of information and everything. Again, Sam and George, and a lot of people don't know, George was one of the first people to buy my comic when I did my first table. Oh, and it's just one of those amazing things, again, just to see where those two have gone with Catch the Craze when they left and came back with doing their stuff with their comics and everything, and just the success.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I'm always excited for their success and everything.
Wow,
that's amazing.
I have enjoyed your company. And even though Sean was the one trying to kick you off the show,
Wow.
he's like, we're approaching that time.
Dude, look at the time. We have you know, our original goal was always to be 1 hour. This is literally our fourth 2-hour show.
Maybe Sebastion was trying to beat Ari's and Chris's.
Oh no, I'm not trying to beat their time. Hell no.
Listen, you can't beat their time. That is 2 people. Like, that's 2 against 1.
Listen. If you got me, Ari, and Chris on the show, if you
that's
got
an
me,
all-nighter.
wait. If you got me, Law, and Tony both all 3 on the show, then yeah, that probably would be one right there with
That's an
Austin's in the
all-nighter.
room. Yeah,
So when we have you, Tone, and Law on the show, I think we should do that for the infamous crossover episode that we've been talking about working on for ages at this point. All right.
I mean, we've had you guys on the show play, so we don't mind invading and causing you guys some hell.
So,
Oh my god, imagine. Just at a
you know what?
random.
Let's try to do that for like a close to Christmas episode, if you don't mind. If you guys don't mind, you guys can think it over.
Oh wait, so Coquito and Regret.
Yes, it'll give us enough time to come up with some games that we can play and win. And
We're gonna play pin the tail on the Acevedo.
Oh my god! So wait, we're going in person for this one. Great, cool.
That'd be
All right,
cool.
so you know what?
I'll
I'll rent the car and I'll head to Jersey for everybody. I'll even pick up Law, right? So that we can have a spy in our midst, so that when we do the crossover together.
I'll bring the cameras. I'll bring the cameras and the audio equipment, and we can set that up. We can all be in the same room and do. We can do it like that '70s show roundtable. Where we just do a round table.
Well, we're gonna what was it? We're gonna get like a little. We're gonna get like a little fucking what's it called? Lazy Susan. Put the camera on it so we can like turn it like to make that.
Oh
motion.
hell
And
yeah!
whenever someone talks, we'll just spin the camera towards that person, and that'll be the entire. That'll be a whole unique version of a podcast.
You know what? I'm game for that.
Oh man, oh shit.
We just had to make sure we have the correct lens. We have a correct turntable. I have a tripod mount that can sit a camera directly on a table for us to do this. But yeah, that would be great. A round table where we're just spinning the camera to whoever, and we're talking shit all night. All right. But Sebastion, it was great to have you on the show. You gave us a lot of insight.
Yeah, I think you've helped us and helped fellow Geektopians out, especially ones who are aspiring. You as an artist has been like an inspiration to us. The way you've been networking, the way you've been running stuff, the way you've been the top shelf person out of the 3 of Nerds of the Round. You guys always say that one person is never greater than the other, but I still think you're the alpha to their betas. That's all I'm saying.
God damn, I'm gonna get picked on for that one. Don't let it go to your head, boy. No, I mean, again, I give a shout out to Tony Law just because, again, just going over with it and just thinking what we've accomplished with nerds, and just thinking the more what we can accomplish. It's been a great ride. I mean, you guys, I've already told you guys, and everybody blew in the face with the story and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I thank them for having faith with going on this journey and just doing their shit, being who they are, and awesome fuckers. Because Grill Master Tone.
Okay.
Yo, that's another thing. We're gonna have you take out the grill so that while we're doing this, he's cooking in the background, even if it's in the dead of winter.
I feel like Tone, after he sees this episode, he's gonna be cursing my name like, yo, you're selling my grill skills hard. I'm like, yo, because them ribs are good.
So
that and Tone's penil.
So we'll probably
you ain't gotta tell me twice about that. Let me get some perni, right? Some barroco ganule, right? Yo, you got me over here looking like freaking SNL's David Ortiz. Give me some
Tone, if you're watching, they're already setting things up for you, Tone. They already. It's cool. So this is how I pictured that event happening, right? So, one part of the day is us doing a exclusive Nerds of the Round G's for Geek episode. One part of the day is us doing an exclusive G's for Geek Nerds of the Round episode. One part of the day is just us doing BTS footage of Tone at the grill.
And literally us just like having fun.
At some point, me and my favorite Law, we're probably going to get the camera and just film some Red v. Edward stuff. So we'll have
y'all probably record me doing some wrestling shit and whatnot in the background.
Probably there'll be some TikToks in there because you do have a TikTok, Sebastian, and Law has a TikTok.
It's gonna be Latin Lover and Malta Man taking over the world.
That oh my god. See, then I'll have to bring the green screen and we could do some promos. I'll bring out.
I used to do a mock wrestling promo for my boy Brian, which was called Terror Face. It was on the Geeks Unlimited.
Showing me that.
So
I don't have the match. I'm probably gonna get the match just to bust that out for you guys and go, it's Terror Face. Ooh, squirrel.
Don't be surprised if in a couple of weeks, the way that we start all of this is there's a green screen promo of the G's for Geek throwing a shoot against Nerds of the Round. Do not be surprised if that happens. If we're in our wrestling attire and we shoot a promo and post it on YouTube of us shooting against Nerds of the Round. Don't be surprised.
I'm here for it.
Once we get the date settled, literally that's what's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. We'll probably do it before the date settle. Don't worry, we'll probably do it. Just
bro, I will go out in my neighborhood as Terror Face, film a whole montage to put into the promo.
You hear that, Sean? It's gonna be AEW style. So Geektopians and Nerds of the Round audience, this is what it's gonna be. It's just gonna be us randomly on YouTube throwing up like 2-minute videos of us shooting promos against each other, and you guys are gonna be like,
around. You think you're the better podcast? Let me tell you something, brothers. G's for Geek is going to be the premier geek-related podcast in all of social media history.
That's what
I'm not gonna bust out the Terror Face for you. I would save it. I'm not gonna embarrass Sean right now.
Oh, really?
Okay. But then, with the Terror Face is gonna come after you. He's just like when he fought in the Ding Dong Ricocina. I took on Chick Player and all that, and a squirrel. And then it happened like that with the whole thing with the chair and go boom.
So on that note, it's official. We're gonna be doing this.
We're gonna be shooting promos. We're gonna be shooting promos for this for no reason.
No reason whatsoever, except to have fun, and that's the whole
I wanted to get to the point where our audience is like, are they about to wrestle? Are they?
Yo, let's do it. As a matter of fact, we'll bust out belts. Let's do it.
When is this match happening?
Belts.
Bro, I would take you on a cheeseburger and a French fry match. The most cheeseburgers you can eat is a winner.
Why does it always get to like the end of the show and this is when the calamity happens? All right, Sebastian. Before you go, let the Geektopians know all your links, and we're also going to add them too on our end, but go ahead, Chuck.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So you guys can catch me on the Nerds of the Round podcast. It's on YouTube. You can catch us on Spotify, Anchor. I go by Sebastion Bonet art on Instagram, Sebastion Bonet on TikTok. So you can find me on those platforms, always posting and everything. When I can, I try to film some fun stuff or just some questions of the day if I'm, just randomly thinking of shit. So those are my little platforms right there. Sometimes on Facebook, sometimes not. I don't know. Zuckerberg is watching me. And I don't remember my Twitter name, for God's sake. That damn. I think it's Sebastion Bone Art.
Sebastian.
Oh, Sebas Bone Art. Bonet Art. Yeah, Sebas.
Oh, I'm like Sebastion Bone Art.
I mean, it is Twitter. It is Twitter, so you can get away with stuff.
Oh God.
The dark side of Twitter.
All right, sir. It was a pleasure having you on, as always. Thank you for letting us know the dark side of cons, which we should have an episode called The Dark Side of Cons.
Dude, that is the name of this episode.
Oh, The Dark Side of Cons? Oh, episode 42.
Episode 42.
The Dark Side of Cons with Sebastion Bonet. All right. So we're going to send you back to the green room so we can wrap up this episode. All right. Here we go. And now that Sean is sent back to the green room, yeah.
You forget I can add myself, right?
Sorry.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final minutes of the G is for Geek podcast. This is your solo host, Sean Luke, with my new co-host, Sebastion Bonet, right? And we are going to say peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Charlie Radio Williams.
And this is Sean Luke.
And as always, stay... Oh, wait. I can't end it yet. So next weekend is NYCC, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, when this airs, it'll be this weekend.
Yeah, so this is going to air next week, Wednesday, same time at 5 p.m. You'll be able to catch the audio version of this podcast at 6 a.m. That morning. We will be at NYCC on the 10th. Is that correct, Sean?
When is that Saturday? Saturday, I believe, is the 9th.
Oh, so we'll be there the 9th. We might be trying to do another day. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we're debating between the 8th and the 10th. We're debating that. Hopefully by next week, we'll be able to post on our social medias the confirmations of which 2 days we'll be there.
But if you see us at NYCC wearing our Sketchfed shirts, our Geektopian shirts, feel free to say hello, ask us whatever questions you like, and we'll just be there. What else do we have? We have an episode of Geektopians that's in the work that should be going into production soon. Once we do, just make sure the writing and the research on it is good. We want to try to get it out before NYCC, but it might come out a little bit after NYCC.
Which
we're
is
trying
fine.
to figure it out now.
That means we can film stuff while we're at NYCC.
So other than that, as always, stay geek. Yeah, stay geek.
That was just such an awkward transition.
And we are out of here. Stay geek. See, there you go. It's better. That was better. All right.
Yes, we are.
Let's end this. All right.